Hello parents and my super intelligent students. We learned in part 1 fast multiples and I disappointed you by saying that there is no magic, no technique. Yes. And fortunately in this one there is one small technique, again I would say a common sense. Math is all about a common sense, you can call it logical sense because it's all about logics. So we would learn how we can do fast factors. Of course, you know it, the method which I'm going to tell you is not something special. You have learned it in your school, but there is one hidden relation which I want to show you. And of course, the foundation for these calculations would be what we have learned in lesson 2. The divisibility test that will be very useful in finding all the factors. Although I have another method for divisibility test which is simple, fast multiplication. So during the divisibility test I will demonstrate you in the part 2. So you can learn about that and it's your choice whether you want to use divisibility test or just a fast multiplication. So let's take example of 24. So in your school book, you have already learned this, that when you are writing the factor of any number, you can write it as a product of all the possible numbers. So the first factor is always 1, and when you multiply it with itself, you will get the answer. So these are the first two factors. Smallest factor, highest factor. What is the second? If it is even number, 2. What do you multiply in 2 to get 24? You 12. Then next one, 3. What do you multiply in 3 to get this number? You multiply 8. Then 4. What do you multiply in 4 to get this number? 6. Next is 5, which cannot be factor. Why it cannot be factor? Because it doesn't end with 5 or 0. We have learned in the divisibility test. Let's move on to next 6. But 6 I have already mentioned here. So what would happen if I write 6 here? 6. What do I multiply in 6 to get this answer? 24. That would be the other factor, 4. So now you see it is going to repeat itself. Same thing, if I go further, it would be 8 multiplied by 3, then 12 multiplied by 2, 24 multiplied by 1. So here I have completed the list of all the factors. These are the 8 factors. I got all the factors. What I want to teach you here, when you are writing a number as a product of two numbers, just you start from 1. When you write 1 here, which is the smallest factor, you will also write the highest factor here. But as you increase, you go on increasing, this number will decrease, This value is decreasing. See, 1 becomes 2 double, 24 becomes half 12. Because you want to keep the answer or a product same. So it's like inversely proportional. One thing increases by a factor, the other thing decreases by same factor. So there would be a condition or there would be a stage when this number will reach to the maximum and this will reach to the minimum, or I can say that would be the end, but before that in the middle there would be a stage when it start reversing itself. So you will start repeating everything, the same thing. So once you reach to this repetition stage here, you have to stop. That means you have got all the factors because you have covered everything here, all possible factors. The kids who are in higher class, they would say 24 is an easy example. Let's take 128 for them. Let's try with 128 and here we would use divisibility test in a better way. So again, we will start with 1 multiplied by 128, which is very, very simple. The smallest factor and the highest factor. Then the 2, it's in even number, so it's obvious that 2 would be the factor. What do I multiply in 2 to get 128? 64. Then 3, is 3 a factor of 128 or not? Of course, there are two methods. Mental math method, just read the table of 3 fast. 3 multiplied by 40, 120. 8 more than 120. Is 8 a multiple of 3? No, so it's not a multiple of 3. For explaining you, I'm taking so much time. But when you start doing in your mind, it takes less than a second, fraction of a second to know that this is not a multiple of 3. Other simple method which is taught in your school books also, a divisibility test, just add all the digits. 1 plus 2 is 3, 3 plus 8 is 11. And 11 is not a multiple of 3, that means it's not a multiple of 3. So forget about 3. Let's come to 4. For 4, you just see last 2 digits as per the divisibility test method. As per mental math, I already know 4 multiplied by 30 is 120. 8 more than 120, 8 is a multiple of 4. So yes, it comes in the table of 4. What do you multiply in 4 to get the answer? You multiply 32 to get 128. So is it a multiple of 5? No, because it doesn't end with 0 or 5. Let's go to 6. Is it a multiple of 6? Not possible, because it's not a multiple of 3. So it cannot be a multiple of 6 also. 7 multiplied by 20 is 140, and 140 minus 14 is 126. It's 2 more than 126. No. 8 multiplied by 15 is 120, and it is 8 more than 120. So yes. So we can write 8. What do we multiply in 8 to get answer 16? 128, so 16. And here when you are writing these numbers, you will see this is also multiple of 8, this is also multiple of 8. So definitely the 8 would also be factor. So even while writing this or while thinking about it, you would know that 8 is gonna come. After that, 9. If it's not a multiple of 3, it cannot be multiple of 9. 10, not possible, it doesn't end with 0. 11 multiplied by 11 is 121, and it is 7 more than 121, not possible. 12, no need to check, because 12 is a multiple of 3 and it doesn't come in the table of 3. 13 multiplied by 10 is 130. Again, it is 2 less than 130, not possible. 14, not possible, because 14 is a multiple of 7. We already checked, it is not a multiple of 7. Ignore 14. Come to 15, doesn't end with 5 and 0, and it's not a multiple of 5. Ignore 15. 16, we came back. We are going to repeat ourselves now. So this is the key. Once we are here, our list is over. That means you have written all the 8 multiples. Now you are just going to repeat yourself. My dear friends, you must be thinking that if I want to find factor, I have to check each and every number. No, as I stopped at certain number, once it started repeating itself, I will also tell you what that number is where we have to stop. For example, when we are doing a factor of 24, we have to stop at the nearest square root. We know that the nearest perfect square near 24 is 25, and the square root of 25 is 5. So once you reach 5, no need to check after that, because it is going to repeat itself. But here in our examples, I was just trying to show you that it's repeating. But in actual implementation, once you learn the technique, you don't need to check any number once you reach to the perfect square root. The square root of the number for which we are finding the factors. For example, 128 we did. So the perfect square near to 128 is 121, and next is 144. So answer, the numbers which you need to check is just till 11. After that, it is going to repeat itself. And same if you want to find out for 400, the perfect square root, 20 of 400. So no need to check after 20. You will get all the factors once you find out the product starting from 1 to 20. And I have already shown you during the technique how easy it is to check each and every number. And in no time, you will be able to find all the factors. You'll be thinking that we have taken a lot of time while doing the factors. But the reason is I'm trying to explain you. But if I have to just implement it without discussing, just write it down, how fast I can do. It's not that difficult. And you'd realize when I'm writing the factors, I will not even stop in between to think, because my thinking would be faster than writing. And the thing which will slow me down is my writing. So let's start with writing.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that, spitting slow, spitting fast. I could roast, I could gas, think I'm okay at last, but I don't
you would have
know
seen I barely stopped to think in between. I just kept on writing. And in the exams, if your thinking is faster than writing, that means you're not losing any time. So just use this technique, and of course you will become better in these techniques only if your multiplication division is strong, if you understand some common sense and logical sense things, the behavior of number. If any number is a multiple of 2, then only it is possible that it can come in other even number tables. For example, the number which comes in the table of 2, only those numbers can come in the table of 4, 6, 8 or 10. Of course, not necessarily, but probably. Same way, any number which comes in the table of 3 can only come in the table of 6, 9, 12, 15 and so on. So if you just get the command on first few numbers, you will get command on all the numbers. It will start with small stepping stones, but realize it, soon you start climbing this mountain. The huge mountain of math would look like a very small ladder. Main thing is you have to start climbing, start using common sense, logical sense, the techniques, and practice more and more. Make your brain more fast, and you will see that you will get the superpower soon, and you will become a super boy of a math. Thank you.